To win business consistently with our prospects, we've got to build great rapport and we've got to do more of the good things than less of the bad things. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about something called the prospect bank balance and how there are some small positives and lots of small negatives that if you do with your prospects can cause a reaction and all those start to mount up. And the net result at the end of the month or the end of the period can be a negative, which invariably means you'll fail. I'm going to share with you what are the debits and credits to avoid in your engagement with the prospect that won't on their own maybe cause you to lose the deal, but potentially over a period of time can mean that you don't win that business or that you do win that business. My name is James White. I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert. Let's look at the video and look at what are the things that are on the credits and debits list to ensure you do less of and more of to win that business. So as I mentioned, I'm not sure where I got this idea from, and if it was you, apologies, the idea was brilliant. I think it matters so much with prospects. When we engage with people that we work with for the first time, there are lots of small little things that if you're not careful can build up over a period of time and make us go, oh, that's frustrating, that's annoying. And what are some of those? But there's also lots of positives that that person can do that can actually make you think, I really like them, I really engage with them. So I think it's really useful for us to explore some of the debits that can actually cause them issues and stop us from winning the business. The first one, for example, I talk about is email sloppiness. What do I mean by email sloppiness? I mean things like capital casing, putting someone's name and putting it in a lower case rather than a higher case. I mean actually maybe not putting full stops in the right place or making your email look like it's all in one big congealed form of text rather than separating it out. Little things like that, certainly when I engage with a prospect, makes me think, okay, it's a bit annoying actually that they've done that. It makes me think they haven't really cared, they haven't really taken time to look at that. So don't be in a position where you start to make your communications with your prospect look a little bit unprofessional. It's going to probably be a debit and it's going to affect, at the end of the month, potentially affect your chance of winning business with them. Another debit that's really, really annoying that people get wrong on a regular basis is wrong name. I know it may sound silly, and I've seen this before, but they either get the wrong name or they spell the name wrongly. I had, unfortunately, the situation literally last week where I introduced someone I really trust and thought is great to do business with, one of my clients, and the first thing they did is they spelt the CEO's name wrong in the email. I was like, oh my God, what? Now I know the CEO, he's a good guy, and actually I said to him, look, I'm sure that was a mistake and whatever else, but it probably would have made it put a debit on his list in terms of working with that person for the first time. And it's a shame because the person itself is really good. They've actually got a great service, they should be building up great credits. But that first action, which is a lack of carelessness, was probably going to literally, wrong name, wrong spelling, it's going to cause that person to literally go, I'm not sure about this person now. So don't get that mistake. Don't be in a position where you literally email the wrong name or spell it wrong. It's going to make you look like an amateur and it's going to make the prospect think, not sure about this person. So we've talked about a couple of debits that can affect your relationship with the prospect. What sort of things that can really make a difference? I think this is really important. Replying when you said you would. If you've told a prospect on a conversation that you're going to get back to them by Friday evening or by Monday morning or by Tuesday afternoon, then do it. Don't be in a position where you then have to say to them, I'm really sorry, but I just couldn't get round to doing it. If that's the case, tell them it's going to be a 2 week or 3 weeks before you can get back to them. Don't be in a position where you give a prospect a timescale that you know you can't make. It's going to make you look bad. It's going to put a debit on their case rather than a credit, which is what you want. And if you think it's going to take longer, tell them that. Always look to under-promise and over-deliver. Say it's going to be Monday and then deliver it by the previous Friday. It's going to make you look good in your prospect's mindset. It's going to help you get them thinking, yeah, this is a person I can work with and trust. So another great thing you can do that can build a real good credit with the prospect is this. Remember them. What do I mean by remember them? Let's say you've engaged with someone and they've said to you, hey, well, I'm off next week on holiday to Croatia, or I'm off on holiday to the Caribbean. Yeah, happy to arrange a call when I come back, and let's arrange that for 3 weeks' time. The really, really good salespeople will use a CRM system traditionally, or even if you really want to just use a spreadsheet, fine, but use a system of some sort. So when you make that phone call back with a prospect, you can actually say to them, oh, by the way, I remember you went to Croatia. How was your trip? How did you enjoy it? How were things there? What it's going to show the prospect is, oh, this person really knows me. They remember me. They care about me, rather than actually saying, oh, how was your holiday? The small differences make a big factor in the prospect's mind. And if you've been in a position where you remember certain elements around who they are or what they do, note them down and use them at the right time to build that credit situation so the prospect thinks, yeah, I really like this person. It makes a difference and it helps build your rapport and relationship with them, which is going to help them decide, yeah, I can trust and work with them. So another really annoying factor when it comes to people trying to sell to me is the language they use. I hear people saying to me, okay, buddy, or okay, thanks, pal, or cheers, mate, or even I've seen it in situations where they talk to a lady and they'll use the word love. It's like, I feel like, oh my God, please don't say those things. Do you know what? Yes, you might think you're being friendly and engaging, but you don't know how that prospect's going to react until you know them very well. And so if you're not sure, just call them by their name, or even if you have to, revert to sir or madam or whatever's best. If someone does it on the phone, if you're watching this and you want to try and sell to me, do not say the words buddy, pal, fella. I can't stand it. People call me fella. I'm like, oh my God, just get it. It's definitely a debit for me when it comes to sales engagement. So don't do that with your clients. Make sure you use language that they can work with, that makes them feel comfortable. And if you get to the stage where you build relationships and you can start calling them mate or whatever, great, but not at the start. Not at the start before you've done business with them. Use their name or use basic terms. That's going to help you, and it's going to help make sure that you get more credits than debits in their world. So what's another small annoyance you can do with your prospects that can make them think, oh, I can't be bothered with these people? Automatically adding them to automation. I engage with lots of my prospects, and I will actually say to them, look, I send out a Saturday sales email. By the way, if you're watching the video and you haven't seen, head over to my website, www.jameswhite.business. I send out a Saturday sales email every Saturday morning with just tips and ideas on how to get better sales. But I don't add everyone that I meet into that list. Why? Because I think it would piss them off, actually. It would make them go, I'm not sure. Why have they done this? I don't need more email in my inbox. If they say to me, hey, James, I've seen your email. I'd love to be added to it. Great, add them in. But don't just add them into your database and into your list just because you think it's the thing to do and they're going to be okay with it. It's not. Its permission is driven by the prospect, not by you. Don't make that mistake and do it automatically, because it may be a factor that makes a difference between the bank balance looking positive or negative when the decision time comes. So one of the key things around credits and engaging with prospects when you talk to them is to focus on them, not you, in your communications. I was with a client and doing some work with a client on Tuesday, and she asked me to review some of the emails that she'd been sending out. And I looked at some of the emails and they were all focused in her prospect engagement about them. Yeah, sure, they wanted the business. So it was all about, how can we help you sell this service? How can we provide this service for you? How can we offer this for you? Rather than actually thinking about the prospect. We'd love to be able to help you deal with this challenge. We'd love to be able to help you grow. We'd love to be able to help you make that happen. We'd love to be able to help you X, Y, and Z. The reality is focus on them within your communications, not on you and what you want. Sure, there's a service ultimately you're trying to sell, or product or service you're trying to sell to them. If you go in and try and make that the key focus of your conversation and the key discussion, it's going to make the prospect go, they're interested in them and not me. They don't really care about me. It's going to be a debit that's going to affect at the end of the time when the decision is coming to be made. Focus on them. Focus on what you can do to help serve and give value to them. And if you do that in your communications and in your general email and activities with them, it's going to be a massive factor, and it's going to help make the difference between yes and no. So another really small point that I think is so important when it comes to debits is not replying back when you get a no. I see this a lot, where prospects will engage with the client and the client comes back to them and says, thanks very much, but it's a no at the moment. And what the salesperson or the business person does is go, oh, pissed off about that, I'm annoyed at that, oh, stuff it, I'm going to delete the email. Whereas what we need to be doing in that situation is sending a nice simple email, and I'll put one up on the video for you to look at that says, thanks ever so much for your information, Mr. Prospect and Mrs. Prospect. I'm really sad to hear that I've not been able to win the business this time, but I totally understand and respect your reasons for making that decision, and I'd love to be able to see if I can help you in the future. If it's okay, I'd still like to be able to share some value and information to you that can help you whatever you decide to do in the future. Best wishes for a successful project, X, Y, and Z. Doing that makes you look to the prospect like someone that actually did care about them and not just cared about yourself. But when you don't reply back to people, it makes me think, and people trying to sell to me, I'm thinking you weren't interested in me in the first place. You didn't really care about what was right. Don't just ignore them and not reply back. Reply back with some basic information that's going to help you look to be the nice, genuine person that you are, and it's going to make a difference when it comes to the prospect, even considering you, maybe not for now, but for the future. So one of the other major factors, I think, when it comes to business and people working with other people is this. Might sound really weird, but not being an arse. Actually, do you know what? The amount of people I speak to and work with who try and sell something to me, and then if it doesn't happen, they just become a bit of an arse. Or even I've met them, I've seen this happen a couple of times where I've literally met someone, they were a little bit rude to me initially. I even had one guy that said, yeah, I'll talk to you another time, and then realised I was in the meeting, I was a key influencer in the decision. The look on that person's face, I could have literally bottled it. It was like, oh my God, what have I done? Yeah, you were an arse. And you know what? That's cost you the business because you made a decision to be something you thought you were bigger and better than that other person. Do you know what? Don't treat someone as you'd like to be treated yourself. Don't be an arse and don't think, oh, I'm better than that person. I don't need to be in that position. Sure, if you have to give them tough and you say that, but do it in a way that's kind and that's respectful of the other person. If you're an arse, the chances are it's going to come back and bite you on the backside later on. Be nice, be polite, be courteous, treat people as you'd want to be treated yourself. If you do that, it's going to make sure people have a respect and understanding for you, and they're going to think, even if they thought that you maybe told them no, that you're the right person for them. Don't be an arse. It comes back to bite you. Karma does happen in business, and if you end up being like that and become someone that people don't want to work with, it's going to end up you having more negative balances than positive balances, which is going to hurt your sales numbers. So another one that makes a massive difference when it comes to debits is being consistently late. Now this one is a real challenge for me because you know what, my VA will tell you, or most of my team that we've ever worked with will tell you, it's one of my biggest learnings. I generally sometimes try and pack too much into a day, and that means I'm late for meetings or I'm late for conversations. Do you know what? That annoys your prospects. It's going to make them think, really, can't you get yourself organised? Now, of course, there are reasons why it happens, but don't be consistently late. Don't always turn up late. Don't always turn up as being the person that, oh, sorry, I'm going to be 10 minutes late here. It's something I have to work on consistently. And I know that if I do it with a new prospect, then it is going to make a difference at the end of the month or the end of the decision period. Don't be that person. Try and give yourself that time. If it means something to you, put the time aside, get there early. Don't get there too early as well. Don't get there half hour early. That annoys people as well. Get there 10 minutes before the session starts so they're in a position to then engage with you. But make sure that you're not consistently late. It annoys people and it's going to be a major debit on the prospect bank balance. It's going to potentially stop you winning that business. So another really great positive that you can do as we come to the end of this video is to share something socially. Do you know what? If they're in a position where you're working with that company or that person and you really like their article, I'm not saying share everything and be so sickly that they think you're just trying to win their business, but if they've put a really great article or content out there, share it. Say to them, hey, that's great content, I've really enjoyed watching that and I'd love to share it with my network. It's going to make that person feel good, it's going to make them feel that they're doing some great work and value, and it's going to help build up a credit with them. Share stuff that they do, and it's going to make a difference when it comes to that prospect thinking about you and whether they think you're someone they can work with. And certainly going to help when it comes to the end point of making that decision to whether to say yes or no to your company. So the final point that I'm going to say to you to make sure you don't do when it comes to a debit is to harass people without thinking. Again, when I do sales presentations, I ask this question a lot. What's the thing about sales that really annoys you? One of the things that comes back so often is about harassing people and being too pushy. And I did a video a number of months ago, which I can share the link with you here. I'll share the link with you on the video, which is all around how do you know whether to be a pushy salesperson or not? And invariably it's about how that first conversation went. And if the first conversation has gone well, and you've really built up a rapport, and you've asked the right questions, and the prospect's been really keen to engage with you, and you've been able to measure those signs, then do you know what things happen in their world? Be able to call them, sure, call them maybe once a week or call them maybe in the second week, but then maybe say to them, hey, I just want to check everything's okay because I haven't heard from you for a while. Or maybe reach out via a different medium. The chances are, if they've really got on with you and they've liked you, they are going to want to carry on that conversation, but they're just too busy at that moment. Don't harass them maybe 3 or 4 times in a week and then think, stuff them, I'm going to move on. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Try and put yourself in their shoes. Maybe there's something they're going through that's affecting what they're able to do. And maybe use your emotional control, your emotional self-awareness to reach out to them and say, hey, I hope you're okay. These aspects make a difference, and it makes a difference with a prospect. It makes them think that you're concerned about them and not just about your sales and your numbers and what you've got to hit. So I hope this video's been useful. I've loved sharing with you information around the prospect bank balance. I hope you're putting in more credits and debits. But if you're not, if you want some help around that, reach out to me. I'll happily help you. Maybe sign up to my Saturday sales tips email. Go to jameswhite.business and sign up. I'm here to help you get the results you want. I'm here to help you turn your business goals into actual reality. And if I can help you, let me know. But thanks for watching. Please share and subscribe to the channel if you love the content that I'm giving you. And if there's anything else I can do to help you, if you've got a question you want asked or covered in a video, just let me know as well. Thanks for watching. I look forward to sharing another video next Saturday with you.